Hi, hello, welcome back. I read more books, and I'm going to tell you about them, whether you like that or not. But before we get into the books, I want to show you a couple of the book-themed birthday presents I got this week. First up is this one. I don't know if you can see that at all, but we'll show you in a minute. This is a bookmark made by Bibliobloom, and it's some nice little flower guys. But a bookmark. And also from Bibliobloom, we have unboxing. Okay, here it is. It's one of those little vases, but it's Pride and Prejudice themed. First up, we have Cane by Jean Toomer. This one is about the African-American experience in the South and the urban North at a time when Jim Crow laws were pervasive. This is often credited with kickstarting the Harlem Renaissance, which I think is interesting, and it's told through a series of vignettes, and some that are almost like plays and poems. It's definitely very experimental, but I think it works, and you definitely get the point that Jean Toomer is trying to tell you. I also think what's interesting is there were actually a lot of women in this one, and it doesn't say anything on the back about, and it's also about women, but almost every story is either about or from the perspective of a woman, so that feels kind of important. For me, this one was a 3 out of 5 stars, just because I'm not a huge poetry fan. I'll read it, I don't mind it, but I'm not gonna normally seek it out. I read this one for an online book club, so I'm definitely glad I read it, and I think you should read it too if you get the chance, but it wasn't necessarily my favorite. Next is 100 Summers by Beatriz Williams. This one is about Lily Dane, who, to escape from the social scene in New York City, goes to her family's summer home in Seaview, Rhode Island. And it's set in 1938. But while she's there, her ex-best friend and ex-fiance show up, and they're married to each other, and then everything goes crazy. What's funny about this book is the first 3/4 of it is about, it's just like a social drama about their relationships, what happened in the past. You get some flashback scenes, and then in the last quarter there's this crazy hurricane scene that comes from out of nowhere and is kind of super violent and a lot of death happening. So the tone shifts a little bit, but then you go right back to stereotypical nice historical fiction. So that was kind of funny. It also ends up being a bit of a Greek tragedy, which I didn't mind. I thought was fitting, but it just was kind of it almost felt a little performative isn't the right word, but almost I don't know, you'll figure it out. The end was maybe a little rushed for me. Like I said, crazy hurricane, and then a lot of people dead, and now we're happy again, yay. But overall, this was 4 stars. I read it on a plane. It was nice. Have you ever wanted to have your heart ripped out of your body and stomped on by a bunch of people? Then you should read The Lords of Discipline by Pat Conroy. This was 5 out of 5 stars for me, but I am, once again, horrible at choosing a beach read. Last time, I read The Prince of Tides on my vacation. That was also a horrifying beach read, and now I picked this one, and, if you want to spend a day of your vacation horribly depressed, staring at a wall most of the time, you should pick this. That to say, it's not I feel like when most people talk about, oh, this book was sad, or this book had a lot of, I would say traumatic moments, they mean oh, a bunch of people died, or something awful tragedy happened, and there's some of that in here, maybe. But it's more, I think, at its heart, I think this is a loss of innocence story, and that really, by the time you hit the end, you're just kind of going, but this is about Will McLean, who is a rebellious outsider with his own personal code of honor, and he goes to the Citadel, which is basically a military college, and a lot of it is about his time there, his time adjusting there, the dynamics at this place. There's a lot of hazing talk, especially in the beginning, and it's some kind of brutal hazing stuff, so maybe be wary of that.
Like what?
Making them stand in the swamp, and then all the mosquitoes come and land on them, and they can't move, or they go and beat them up. No, I don't remember what I was saying. But while he's there, he also ends up getting kind of involved, comes across this mysterious group called the 10, and he also has to contend with that. Will McLean is very similar to the main character in Prince of Tides, Tom. They both have these pretty intense love-hate relationships with something. For Tom, it's his family, and then for Will, it's the Citadel. And then they both have that sort of relationship with the South in general. So it kind of feels like part of the main plots in those books is exploring those love-hate relationships. I think this is very good. You should definitely read it. If this is kind of your thing, it does feel a little like maybe it won't be everyone's cup of tea, as they say. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was important. A 92-year-old man gave it to me. Continuing our really fun and not at all traumatic selection of books, we have Every Sweet Thing is Bitter by Samantha Crewson. How to explain what this one is about. So, 13 years ago, Providence Bird put their family car in reverse and ran over her mother. Her mother survived, but Providence ended up becoming a felon and left the family to go live somewhere else. But now her mother has gone missing, and Providence has a chance to come back and help find her mother and explore those severed family relationships. I really enjoyed this one. This was also a 5 stars for me. It's marketed almost as like a mystery. I don't think it's really a mystery at all. So do with that what you will. This almost felt more, well, let me see how to pronounce this word.
Treatise.
This one almost felt like a treatise on revenge, on the morality of revenge, and then the consequences of revenge.
Is revenge good or bad?
Bad. Revenge is bad. I really liked the main character, Providence, in this one. She was very well balanced, and I think you could have taken her character and taken it too far and made her almost completely unrelatable and really hell-bent on revenge and but she was very well balanced in that way, where she wasn't predictable at all. You couldn't say, oh, I know exactly what she's going to do here, and I think that really helped me stay invested in this one, and also invested in her relationship with revenge and what she's going to do and what she's going to decide to do. I almost think, I don't want to spoil anything at all, because I think you should read this, and then tell me what you think. But I almost feel like you have to take the ending at a metaphorical value and not at like a face value, if that makes sense, going off of like, it symbolizes Providence's relationship with revenge. Yeah, so I think if you want to pick this one up, just know that you almost have to be more invested in what I would consider to be the allegorical revenge plot and less the mystery portion. There also is, I think there is a section of warnings at the beginning, but there are some pretty heavy topics in here, so maybe check that out before you read it too. I always make the mistake of going to Goodreads after I finish something and looking at the low reviews on a book I love, which you should never do. It's a terrible idea, by the way. But someone said this author was being too pretentious because she used too many big words. She said they used a specific word and it was so funny, which is a kind of funny way of outing yourself as not having a really great vocabulary. And also, did you think that maybe the author is just smart? Sorry, I had to say that. That review drove me insane. Yeah, 5 stars. I would give it more than 5 stars, if possible. Very, very solid, I think. Okay, those were the 4 books I read most recently. Have you read any of those? Do you want to? Do you hate those books? Do you hate me? Let me know in the comments. Okay, let's talk about what I'm reading this week. I'm reading No Place Like Home by Mary Higgins Clark. Look, this is not great literature, but I enjoy it. It's a nice, simple little mystery. This one is about a young woman who at the age of 10 had shot her mother, trying desperately to protect her from her estranged stepfather, and then, down the road, she is living under a secret identity, and then her husband buys her the house that she shot her mother and stepfather in. And what happens from there? This week, I'm listening to Glorilla. Specifically, her song, Yeah, Glow. Yeah, glow. Two-tone Cartier, match the nails, ho. This week, I'm watching Jenica and Annika. They are a mother-daughter vlogging duo, and they just do like lifestyle content, and it's great. I've been watching them for a few years now, which is crazy, but I like them. They're great. They also both just got into reading, so they have some reading content, some reading vlogs out that you should go watch. They're basically like the real-life Gilmore Girls. Like and subscribe. But before we go, I think we should check in on Tiny Zendaya. Tiny Zendaya is reading The Crying of Lot 49. Watch out for that creeper, Tiny Zendaya.